What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So we have Assault Rumble, it just started. We also have the PKA that started tonight as well, so it's going to be relatively busy tonight. But interesting thing about this Assault Rumble is that the rewards for this one are very interesting. So if you go over to the mission tab and you go to the Assault Rumble missions, you can see that I have completed like a bunch of them. I'm not really aiming to complete these max level Assault ones, but let's see here. What are the ones? You have to clear with 4 or more Blackbeard pirates in your team. That's actually going to be kind of tricky if you don't pull for the new units. And then 4 or more world government. That's not going to be a problem at all, as we'll go ahead and showcase that in today's video. But the other thing is that you can go ahead and pick up the Super Evolution Skulls for Shanks from this event. So this is a great opportunity to go ahead and super evolve that Shanks. Now look, he's not like the greatest unit in the world, but he actually may be kind of useful in Assault Rumble because of his kit. He's a kit, he does more stuff in Assault Rumble, so he might be an interesting character moving forward into the future. So that's kind of just, you know, a little bit of a side note about this Assault Rumble to go ahead and actually play it. I believe you only have to get to level 6 in order to get the character super evolved, and I believe at level 2 or level 3 you get a free copy of Shanks as well. So if you don't have Halloween Shanks, you can still get him for free and super evolve him for free just by playing the event. So that's fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump into this one today. So we have the Ace boss coming up first. So against Ace, if we have a look at the rule set, it says that Ace boss takes more damage from int characters, he takes more damage from shooters, and he takes less damage from strength. And then against all bosses, it mentions here, they take more damage from Blackbeard pirates and more damage from world government. So you have to keep that in mind, is that they typically want you to use world government or Blackbeard pirates, and this whole thing, all of the bosses are psi type, so you want to be building like int focused teams around them. So this is the first team that I have. This is the one that I initially built against like the level 1 Ace, and I've used it all the way up. We'll see how things go. One thing I should probably do is I want to put you Rogue up there, because when someone gets knocked out, I think you Rogue coming in is probably better. I'm not 100% certain, again, like what the most optimal team setups are going to be, but this is what I've got so far, making sure that we do have the strikers to fulfill the effects of Saturn, as well as we wanting the Drake on the end of the team is to fulfill the condition for the sword character. So that's pretty much it. We do have Yamato, who does a ton of damage. Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban are a good unit in Rumble for sure, but in Assault Rumble, I'm not too sure if they're going to be that great. We probably will end up switching them out for something else. Actually, one thing I just kind of realized is that Ace, he does do an effect where he does more damage towards slasher characters, which actually might not be that bad in this instance here, because, you know, with Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban, the more damage they take, the more damage they're actually going to deal. So I think this might not be an awful idea to have them on the crew, because a lot of the times when I use them in Assault Rumble, they don't really do a hell of a lot. So the fact that they're on here actually could be a good thing, but we'll see how things go. So Yamato here is really good. We actually got Saturn to launch his special ultra quickly, which is kind of huge for us, inflicting the confusion, hopefully. We do inflict the confusion, so he will come out of special bind, and then he also does have the confusion to get rid of his special straight away, and he's already in break status, which is fantastic. The one thing about the single bosses in Assault Rumble that are kind of annoying is that you don't get like the exorbitant high damage numbers, because you're only doing damage to one target. When there's like more enemies, you can obviously do the specials that do multi-hit effects, which can obviously apply more and more damage. So unfortunately, we're not going to do like a ton of damage against this guy, but we'll see what happens here. And you can see Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban are taking a ton of damage. It would be nice if we could launch one more special before they get fully knocked out, just so that we can abuse the fact that, you know, when they're below 40% threshold, they do like way more damage. Special bind is not really going to be that important for us here. Confusion would be kind of nice to just reduce the amount of damage that we're taking. Unfortunately, the confusion does not land this time around. And this is actually one of the first times I'm actually using this Apu legend. He's actually pretty good, you know, he's actually not too bad at all. Ace is going to launch that special. So Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban are probably dead here. Oh, they just survived. That's actually kind of clutch. Can they please launch a goddamn special? There they go. So the damage through defense and the 4x damage as well, which is nice little bit of damage there. And now if they could actually get knocked out, that would be perfect. Yamato launching towards the end here is a great addition as well. Okay. And we're not going to get too much more damage here. Apu launching again is obviously fantastic. He's really good, actually. And that's probably it. Okay, sword character is going to launch again. Just a really nice utility character. And Roger Rayleigh Gaban not going to get another hit in. So that's still not too bad for an Assault Rumble clear. No one got knocked out, which is pretty good. But Roger Rayleigh Gaban, yeah, probably could switch them out for something else that would be a little bit more helpful. But at the end of the day, we still got the dub, so can't really complain too much. That actually worked out pretty well. Definitely not the greatest team ever, but it did get the job done, so not too bad at all. Looking into the second boss now, this is against Halloween Shanks, but you can see there's also Halloween Beckman as well as Halloween Uta are going to be featured here. If we go to the rule set, we can see that against the Shanks boss, right at the top of the screen, it mentions that he takes more damage from Int, more damage from Powerhouse, and then he takes less damage from Strength, Dex, and Quick. So, looking at the team squad that we have this time around, this is what I'm going to be doing this time. I initially had the new dual unit Blackbeard 6+ instead of Shanks, but this is going to be my first time using him, so I did want to trial him out. What I will say though is that if you do want to use the Shanks in Assault Rumble, he is going to work very, very well against the Boa Hancock boss on the last one, and I'll talk about why that is the case here. But another thing you do need to keep a note about this Shanks boss and well, all of these enemies in this particular fight is that they will do more additional effects towards Free Spirit. So not only do you want to build with like Int and Powerhouse in mind, but he also will like kind of limit you in like just don't bring Free Spirit. It's going to be a bad time if you bring Free Spirit focused characters against these three here. So this squad, I'm not ultra confident in this one. I am considering potentially switching it up so it's relatively similar to what we have here. We'll see, but with the fact that no longer slasher characters are getting nerfed means that S-Hawk can make an appearance this time around, which is obviously a massive addition to any team because you can do a ton of damage through defense. Helps out a lot, and specifically because S-Hawk targets 3 characters for damage through defense, and there are 3 enemies this time around. S-Hawk is going to be perfect in this fight. One character that I don't often use actually is the Pudding, actually. Pudding is a really, really cool character, actually, like a really good utility unit. Unfortunately, just missed out on launching the special, but she will get a chance to launch here, which is good. Right here. Actually, I did notice that the Uta enemy on the enemy side of the field actually gave some of our characters buffs, so we may have to actually have a look at that. That's kind of interesting. So we're inflicting that half stats there, which is kind of nice, and now S-Hawk can come in and kind of sweep there, doing a ton of damage. And let's see what Shanks does here. So remember, he actually does do more damage here. Action bind doesn't matter. That was pretty decent damage, all things considered there. Not too bad at all. Shanks does have the ability to action bind. It looks like we did avoid it, which is quite good. Luffy is probably not the best character to bring for this. He just seemed like a solid choice because his rumble ability is actually really, really good. But honestly, Luffy, the fact that you can't force out any characters means that his viability in Assault Rumble is definitely a lot lower than some other characters. So Luffy is probably going to be a unit that I will switch out. But you can see that Shank gets his Super Rumble special very quickly. My one is at level 150, so this will be a good opportunity to see what he can do. Here you go with old mate Shanks, drinking his sake, of course. He does that as half defense or half stats, whatever it is, but that's a ton of damage from Shanks. So yeah, he's actually going to be a pretty solid unit, especially if you do have the investments. I think he's going to be a pretty solid unit in this Assault Rumble. Pudding, of course, continuously giving us some cooldown, allowing our characters to launch a lot faster. She seems like a really nice addition to this squad. Halving of stats. Luffy's going to do some okay damage here. Actually, very good damage there. And of course, the Force Out, unfortunately, not being able to proc is a bit of a shame. The enemy also has an Ultra Rumble special, or a Super Rumble special. That kind of blows, dude. Okay, we do dodge the action bind again. That's pretty lucky. Here we go with Pudding again, charging specials. We really want another cycle of S-Hawk and Shanks here. This is good, so this can reduce some of the damage that we'll take from enemies. And then S-Hawk and then Shanks can hopefully go crazy here. Let's see. And then we get the Shanks special. Very good damage there. Almost 700k is fantastic. And we're still barely surviving, but Pudding is running low on HP. She is running very low. Even Mori is definitely running low as well. Luffy's going to do some nice damage too. I mean, this is pretty good. This is some good damage we're seeing here from this squad. Moria, that half stats is going to be clutch, so we can just tank a little bit easier here. We've only got 6 seconds left. So Pudding will get a special off, but it's pretty redundant at this point. We just want to make sure we don't die. Okay, we actually hold on. That's pretty sick. But Shanks actually still could knock out something here. Okay, so none of them died actually, which is pretty good. 814k. Not bad damage, actually. So, definitely would be some changes that I would want to make. I think Luffy needs to be replaced. He's not really that great for this team. Moria was pretty solid. S-Hawk and Shanks seemed very, very good here. We'll have to make some changes, but this one seemed not too bad, all things considered, for a first run-through against the max level. Alright, so here we go against the final boss, which is against Boa Hancock. So, we have a look at the rule set here. So, against Hancock, she takes 15% more damage against world government, and driven characters get a 15% damage bonus. Shooter characters do less damage towards that character. But the big thing, of course, world government characters do a further 10% damage up against all enemies. So technically it's like a 25% increase and then a 15% increase if you use the elder characters, which is what my goal is here to do today with this team. So all of the elders are doing like a flat, like 45% damage bonus against these characters, which is pretty solid. One thing to note though, if we have a look at the Boa Hancock ability here, it says it targets free spirit characters for 100% chance of action bind, so don't bring free spirit characters here. I want to have a look at the Luffy. I haven't had a good chance to have a look. So he does damage and then free spirit characters, half attack, and then even more damage. So yeah, obviously you just want to kind of avoid that. Do not bring free spirit characters here. People may also ask the question, why are we running these characters on the bench? Mainly just because of the fact that these are units that have the highest HP, and they are the units that I can put on the team because of the condition of the cost of the crew. Technically speaking, you could potentially take one of the 5 elders out, but you really want them all in here because you need to fulfill the condition of having, you know, 5 elders or whatever it is for their effects. So you kind of have to run it this way. I am using Alpha on the front line because Alpha does give all of the world governments some cooldown when she does get a chance to launch the special. Realistically, you could put Saturn on the front line, which I think is also a pretty valid option, but I think the utility of having Alpha potentially restoring our specials over and over again is going to help us snowball our specials, because once we get the snowballing of St. Peter to continuously like give us some special CT, that's going to be massive for our team for allowing us to get more of an advantage over the enemy, because the more we can launch specifically like Nushjura special, like the better position that we are going to be in here. And then we get the Mars special, which gives some cooldown as well. So just the continuous launching of cooldown, because then we have Alpha, which can charge the special of Mars, and Mars can charge the special of Alpha. And here we go, already in break status, which is fantastic, lowering their CT and stuff. And the big thing that I forgot to mention is that these characters can actually be action bind. So this is where I think that the Halloween Shanks is going to be fantastic against, because Halloween Shanks does have the capabilities of inflicting action bind against those characters. So do keep that in mind if you do aim to build a team against this boss. This is going to be the easiest of the bosses due to the fact that you can action bind them, and the fact that, you know, the Shanks is going to be free. I think that that's going to be something to really, really look out for. But Peter coming in after he's launched his special is massive for us here. Big damage coming in there, but we do tank it relatively well. Alright, we're half through now. We get some more cooldown, which is good. We're going to miss out on a couple of special launches here. Oh, Peter just missed. That would have been so good if we got that. Okay, but then we go with the Walkyrie special there, which is nice. Some more damage through defense, some more shield, just to prevent a bit of damage. Mars getting a chance to launch here to make sure that our specials are going to be back once again. Increasing our special CT. Great stuff. And Alpha is going to launch again. Wow, that's really good rotation there. Getting the special launch into special launch into special launch is so good. Here we go with Peter. Really good damage from Peter. And of course, the debuffs, which you'd love to see. Really good stuff from him. And then we also, because they're action binded, we can go ahead and use the Nushjura special. Boom, boom. Damage through defense, and then even more damage. Yeah, this is looking real good so far. 30 seconds left. If we could potentially launch another Nushjura special before the end here, would absolutely love to see that. Is Mars going to get his special back? I think he is. Yeah, that's fantastic. So Mars is going to be able to launch, which is going to reduce the special of Peter and the rest of the squad. And then whenever Alpha comes back, she will be able to charge our specials again. It is the final 30 seconds, so all the special CT is going to be increased as well. So let's see. Nushjura is coming up very fast, so I don't know if we're going to get Nushjura to launch again, just due to the fashion of how things are going here. We do get St. Peter. We'll get another chance to launch here, but it's going to be tight. Okay, Nushjura is coming up, and then, yeah, because of this and the action bind, we get the action bind, right? Yes, good. Okay, so Nushdro will get a chance to launch, and the rest of our team is going to get a chance to launch, which is fantastic for us. Big damage there from Nushdro. And our team is very healthy too, which is the other thing to consider. Like, we are just looking really good in terms of our HP. And the action bind just stops them from launching, which is so good. Then we get Mars launching as well, but of course the cooldown does not matter at this point. So this is looking pretty good. Pretty good damage overall. In terms of changes for this team, I think you could potentially trial out putting Saturn in the front line instead of Alpha. That could be a potential option as well. Not really too sure, but that was pretty good. And then we did get the condition fulfilled by having 4 more world government characters, which is good. Thank you very much for that. Of course, the only condition that we didn't fulfill in this video was having the 4 more Blackbeard Pirates, which I think is actually going to be a really difficult thing to fulfill because the Blackbeard Pirates are not very good in Rumble unless if you have literally the newest ones that just dropped. So anyways, that's the video that I have for you today for Assault Rumble. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to go ahead and get your Assault Rumble done to get your Shanks, get him super evolved, and actually use him because he's actually not that bad in this Rumble season. Hopefully you enjoyed this video though. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.